My name is Maya Ciarrocchi. I am a visual artist living in Van Cortlandt Village in the Northwest Bronx. I grew up in Manhattan's Far West Village along the Hudson River. This was the 1970s, long before the neighborhood was called the Gold Coast of Manhattan. It was an industrial zone that supported meatpacking, import, export, and prostitution. I grew up in Westbeth, a former factory converted to artist housing and one of the few residential buildings along the West Side Highway. Our apartment had million-dollar views of the Hudson River, and from there I could see sailboats, cruise ships, tankers, the Statue of Liberty, sunsets, and the famous piers, which were a lively center of activity, legal and otherwise.
My name is Francheska Alcantara. I am a multidisciplinary artist living and working in the Bronx. My connection to water is very personal and poetic, as I was born on the island of Hispaniola, shared by Haiti and the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. This informed my relationship to water as a connection to history, trauma, migration, travel, regeneration, and possibilities. In thinking of the African diaspora and Caribbean mythology, water holds a lot of symbolism connected to deities like Yemaya, Erzuli, and Mamiwata.
We had easy access to the Hudson. In fact, if you were daring, you could dangle your feet over the edge of the walkway and almost touch it. I remember doing water testing for science class and lowering our buckets on ropes. As a coastal dweller, water is my compass. It defines left, right, north, south. I'm also a Cancer, which, if you believe in astrology, is a water sign. I go to water for comfort, reflection, and for healing. Like the crab, I walk along its edges, dancing with its curves, but I am terrified of deep water and strong waves.
As a child, my relationship to water was very important and constantly felt in different realms. On one hand, I had and still have a higher connection to water as a resource of life and energy that has a parallel relation to land and that is part of the composition of our bodies. I enjoyed going to the beach or rivers to swim in the warm waters with beautiful surroundings. On the other hand, in a utilitarian way, water could be scarce at home at any time due to drought and lack of infrastructure to make it potable. I remember having large containers for water storage in my house. It was very important to rationalize water for various uses, from everyday cooking and bathroom use to the weekly clothes, hand washing, and house cleaning.
During Superstorm Sandy, the Hudson flooded the Westbeth basement with 9 feet of water, destroying the electrical systems. I spent 2 weeks hauling water up 8 flights from the fire hydrant on the street. I left Westbeth to live in the Bronx shortly thereafter. It was time to find high ground.
Living now in the Bronx, going to beaches or rivers takes more planning. Also, rather than physically enjoying the water bodies have become sites of contemplation for me. For instance, it is always magical to ride the Metro North along the Hudson River or to run around the Jerome Park Reservoir close to my house. In a different way, water is more reliable than it has ever been in my life, since it is the basic service that we get at home. While I feel very lucky for this, I also think that such access makes us take water for granted.
I knew about Tibbetts Brook before I moved to the Bronx. I knew it was a water body that started in Westchester and wound its way south through Van Cortlandt Park to Broadway, where it was unceremoniously directed into the sewer.
I am finding connection and respect for the Lenape people who were taking care of this land and water resources before me. Tibbetts Brook expands my imagination of connection to others, as it is a submerged waterway that flows from Westchester to the Harlem River.
Tibbetts Brook is not shy. Even though 1/3 of it is submerged, it announces itself as a waterfall in Tibbetts Brook Park, in the lake at Van Cortlandt Park, and in the tiny streams that crisscross the park's trails. After heavy rains, it floods the Broadway corridor. The water goes where it wants to go.
Meeting of maps, meaning of histories, arriving at the particular, no doubts of the specific, waterways that connect beyond the imagination.
Water bodies are the arteries of the earth.
Up and down,
the arteries that
upstream,
connect lands
down
across
saves,
counties, states,
up
and
and
nations.
down, downstream,
Water bodies do not stop for
being a
concrete
higher
poured
point.
or land filled.
Water as a container,
Animals and plants
water as a
die without
space,
it.
an
The
ephemeral
Cherokee
mental
people say that when the
reflection,
world grows
covering
old,
territory
the
of
earth will sink down into the ocean,
bringing
and
of
all will be
knowledge
water
as
again.
impressions. Mosholu, soft and round as stones, water hotter than stone, rounding of heart and experience, move up or beyond. Water lands, waterfalls, water walks, water pause, water extensions, water migrations, water exchanges, water is tender, water minds, water clarity, water lights, water contention, water deception, water dangerous, water belongs, water can be bought, water mover, water sooner, water in time, water in mind, water taken, water given back, water Mosholu in my mind.